Hi everyone, I'm here today to teach you how to basically build your own story from your story builder Origami. So when you fold your 4 pieces of paper, they're going to look like this. So it's a little bit of a star shape. Okay. The way that you actually work this story builder is you put your index finger and your thumb inside of these little gaps at the bottom, and you're going to move them. You're going to open your fingers, so you open them one way and you open them the other way. So like this, okay? Now, when you're finished with all 4, you're going to start with one of them. So in the packets that we packed you, we explained what each one can be. So your hero characters, your villain characters, your sidekicks, and the type of adventure that your characters are going to go on, as well as the emotions that they're going to feel on these adventures. So I created one for you guys so that you can see an example. I started with, on the very outside, I did a phrase. So I did, "So our story begins." Now, if you notice, each of these words has a different amount of letters in them. That's really good. We want that on the outside. So if you want to do a phrase, try to pick a phrase where each word has a different amount of letters in it. If you just want to do numbers, you could do numbers, so 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do any random numbers. Try to keep them below 10 though, because you don't want to be moving your hands a really large amount of times. So once you have this, you're going to open it up so that there is the middle portion. Now this is where I did my emotions. So the different kinds of emotions that my character can feel when they're on their adventure. So some of them are surprised, sad, confident, excited, things like that. So they're not all like really happy, good feelings. Some of them are nervous or scared, because our characters don't just feel happiness. They might be surprised by the villain or scared of the villain. So you'll have different emotions here. Now when we open it up again, this is where our different adventures are going to be. So when you lift one flap, you'll see the adventure. Now I chose to do only 4 adventures in the inside, but you can do 8. So if you wanted to split this in half right along this crease, you can do one different adventure over here and another one over here. So I did some kind of mountain adventure where they have to trek through the mountains. This one is through the forest. This one is underwater, and I put like a little treasure chest down there. And then this one is outer space. And you don't have to use the same exact adventures that I have. You can choose your own if you'd like. Maybe you've read a book or seen a movie where the characters go to a place and you thought it was really cool. You can add that there. You don't have to draw the pictures if you don't want to. You can write down what they're called. So if you wanted to draw Hogwarts, you could, or write Hogwarts, you could just write Hogwarts. If you wanted to draw or write Oz from The Wizard of Oz, you could do that in either one of these little triangles or across the whole thing, okay? Now, the way that this works to build our story, you're going to close it up again so that our phrase or your numbers are on the outside. And you can either have somebody pick it for you or you can pick yourself. So since I'm by myself, I'm going to pick so. And so has 2 letters in it, so I move my hands 2 times. So S-O. And then I look in the inside and I see what emotions there are. And I'm going to pick, I want my character to be excited. So I'm going to take that word excited and I'm going to write it down on another piece of paper. So excited, perfect. And I'm going to move my hands the amount of times for the letters in excited. So E-X-C-I-T-E-D. And now I look in the inside again and I decide that I want my character to be nervous. So I'm going to write nervous. So right now I have excited and nervous written down. And I'm going to do one more after this. So I'm going to spell out nervous. So N-E-R-V-O-U-S. And I'm going to pick surprised. So I'm going to write down surprised. Perfect. And then once you decide that this is your last emotion, you're going to pick up that flap so that you can see what kind of adventure your character is going on. So my character is going to be going on a mountain adventure. So some kind of trek through the mountains. Maybe they're going to find gold, or they're going to find a hidden city, anything like that. So you guys can expand on your own ideas. Okay. Now this is just the example for the adventure / emotions. Now when you're doing your characters, I suggest doing the same thing that you do on the outside. So you would have your phrase or your numbers. Make sure that their numbers are below the number 10. And then on the inside, write the character names that you want for your characters. So it could be any character names. It could be names from your family. It could be names that you just made up. It could be names of people or beings that you have read about in books. And then on the inside, where we have our adventures for this one, this is where you can put the being or the type of creature that your characters are going to be. So it could be prince or princess. It could be a wizard or an ogre, things like that. Or you can draw pictures of them as well. Okay, so you can do that for your hero characters, you can do that for your villains, and you can do that for your sidekicks. So again, phrase or numbers on the outside, the names of your characters on the inside, and then the types of beings under the flaps. And it works the exact same way. So you pick from the outside, you spell it out, and then here you're going to have your character names. So you'll pick a name, you're going to write it down. Make sure you write it down, that's the most important thing, so you remember. And then you'll spell it out, and then this is where you'll just pick a random one and you'll lift the flap, and that's how you'll see what kind of character or what kind of being that your character is. Now you'll have to do this over again from the outside into the inside for every character or sidekick that you want to have in your story. And that's just so that you don't have a bunch of names written down and then only one being. Now, if you want every single one of your characters to be the exact same being, so if you want them to all be ogres, then, or all princes or all princesses, you can choose as many names as you want and then just lift the flap for one of them, and that's the kind of beings you want. But if you want to have multiple beings, I would suggest picking one name, spelling it out, and then lifting a flap, writing that down, and that's the kind of being for that character, and then starting from the beginning for the next character. I hope you all have a lot of fun with this project. I know that I did. I can't wait to write this story, and I hope that you all have a great writing experience. And if you want to share your writing with us, we will gladly read it. So you can send it to us in our email, or you can tag us in our social media, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And it's just Franklin Lakes Children's, and we can't wait. Have fun.